Hello and welcome to the Bowlers Union Ashes wrap up. This is the end of day two. And I'm not going to lie, Keith, I'm a bit depressed, to be honest. I've been watching it sort of on and off at a cricket club actually this morning. It's just bleak. I really want England to do well, and I feel like they just keep messing it up.
I understand your pain, but they're living by the sword and dying by the sword. Um, it is frustrating. I'd be frustrated as a bowler in that team, to be honest with you. I know we are the bowlers union, so we do have a thing against batters, but I would be pretty pissed off the fact that I mean 3-3-4 looks all right, but it only
Yes,
looks all
agree.
right. But it looks all right because the first test finished in 2 days.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? So like you've won the toss, batted. I'm expecting you to actually come out on top first innings, but it's not looking great. Obviously, only six down and 40 ahead, basically.
Yeah. So as you said, what did England finish play? They finished play last night. 3:20
3-2-5.
odd. Yeah, something like that. So anyway, they end up out for 3-3-4. Although interestingly, reflecting on it, should they potentially have gambled and declared and had a bowl at them with a new ball under lights for half an hour, 45 minutes? Um, that's some of the chat that's been going around um, on the mainstream kind of media, tactically anyway. And I understand that's difficult with Joe Root in and going well, but it does seem like bowling with a new ball under lights is essentially the hack to getting poles on this pitch. If you can get yourself in that scenario. But anyway, yeah, Australia have finished the day 3-7-8 for six, and to be honest, they got a lead of 40 odd. Um, it looks it does look a bit worrying. To be honest, I agree with you. It seems like on the face of it, 3:34 or whatever. You're like, you know what, that's okay. England can maybe do some work, but they didn't bowl their best today. I don't know how much you saw, um, but they've dropped five chances as well, which is yeah.
David, imagine you need 20 wickets normally to win a test. We'll just add an extra five just to spice it up a bit. Obviously, no one means to drop catches, obviously, but it really doesn't help a bowler's kind of motivation when they keep
No,
seeing catches go down.
no, totally. Well, actually, straight off the bat, Smith dropped. He dropped head early on, like Archer bowled a really nice delivery, genuine edge, and it got quite big on Smith. So I'm not saying it's an easy catch, but when you're bowling, you don't expect straightforward-ish catches to be dropped by your keeper, do you? That's really deflating. And I think head nicking him off relatively early would have been just a huge boost. Let's crack on, let's get into him. Duckett dropped a couple. One was obviously Carey, who's now not out still. That was quite simple. Nessa has just been dropped by Carr. It's like really simple catch at the end of the day, and it's like, oh my god, really, really frustrating stuff. Um, Obviously, focusing on the Australian batting though, Weatherald, fair play. He got himself a near enough a
Yeah.
runnable 70 odd. Labuschagne and Smith just cracked on and did their thing, both posting 65 and 61. But I want to go through the Aussie scores, right? Because I mentioned yesterday about four England players getting ducks. They just get in, play loose shots, and get out straight away, right? The Aussie scorecard is this: Head 33, Weatherald 72, Labuschagne 65, Smith 61, Green 45, Carey 46, English 23, Nessa not out 16. They've all got in. They've all got starts. Like, there's something in that, right? They're actually valuing their wicket early and they're actually trying to give themselves a chance. Whereas we
Yeah.
go out, like you say, live by the sword, die by it. And essentially, it might come off in one or two cases. But
Yeah.
I just think it's
Would
reflecting the scoreboard.
would you say, like I did say, live by the sword? There's this kind of confident cricket that the England play. If they win that first test, do they have the balls to pull out last night and have a bowl?
Well, they did it. They did it in the last series at Edgbaston, didn't they? Do you remember on the first day?
Hmm.
Um, and in that case, it kind of backfired, but that's because it was in the daytime. Ultimately, that game was going to start spinning at Edgbaston toward the back end. Whereas in this scenario, you don't have to worry about that. Really, all you have to worry about is using a new ball under lights. So this was the time to do something funky like that. And actually, I'll be honest, I
Yeah.
didn't back Archer to get that 30 odd. I feel like his batting's probably gone downhill a little bit recently. So this was a good time to try and do something like that. But you're right, yeah. If you haven't got the game in the bank at Perth, it does make you perhaps hesitate. I don't know. It's just frustrating. And like you touched on it there as a bowler, it's tough if you only ever bat for 70 overs to then keep coming back out and bowling. Like physically, it wears you down.
Yeah.
And I feel like that's going to start coming into play as well. Do you know what I mean? We only batted
Yeah.
73
It's only,
overs or
it's
something.
only a matter of time. It's only a matter of time until that kind of hits the bowlers a bit more. I know they'll keep rotating, and they can try to stay positive, but it eventually does kind of hit you, I think. As a bowler, if you having opportunities not taken, and you'll look at your figures as well, and then you might get rested, and you're thinking, I'm walking away from this last test match or last few test matches with 3 or 4 wickets shy of what I should have. Then people start talking about your figures up at the tour and everything else. It can start to play on you quite a bit.
Yeah. I mean, am I just reacting to the results here? But I feel like this style of playing with the bat is, I feel like leaving people with a bit of unfulfilled potential to a degree. It's so volatile. Like you just miss opportunities to capitalize on situations where you can actually put a stranglehold on the game. Obviously, we definitely saw that in the first test. Um, we kind of did we see it in this test? We haven't really. I'm trying to think if there's an example. We haven't really had a chance to grab the game from a winning perspective in this one, is what I would
Yeah.
say. But we have had the opportunity to try and sort of grind out a tough spell. I don't know. I don't know. It's just really frustrating, mate, to
Do
be
you know
totally
what?
honest.
Do you know what the batting feels like for me? If you go to a very high end Michelin star restaurant, the presentation looks beautiful, but you're always left hungry, aren't you? At the end, you still want a good feast.
Right. Yeah.
I
Yeah.
feel
Yeah.
I feel hungry for runs, and I'm not getting them. I'm seeing some beautiful shots, but yeah, I'm not getting the runs that I want, basically.
Yeah. You want a bit more. Yeah. Look, that's fair. That's fair. What it does leave me wondering, in all seriousness, looking at the game state right now, I feel like we're going to lose this game. I'll be honest, right? Australia, I think, are probably at this point going to get a lead of at least 100. And then they're going to, get into us again, and we're going to play the same way. Probably get between 250 and 300, and they're going to knock them off. The only thing that saves us is the potential that in some weird event we bowl with a newish ball at them on day 4, and Jofra goes crazy. That's the only way we win, I think, from here, if I'm being really honest. So then you're 2-0 down. And I just feel like the whole emphasis of this Bazball era, so to speak, and all of the stuff that they've done has been geared towards this series. And you fucked it up in the first 2 tests. Do you know what I mean? You got Keith Barker bowling with a kookaburra on a flat one at the Rose Bowl, all because of the end goal of going to Australia and beating them. And it's like, well, you've just, and it's not even the bowling. It's not even the bowling. I know England potentially didn't bowl great today. I say bowl their best, but you don't really analyse a pitch until both teams are battered on it. We've talked about that in the past, and that's a common thread, isn't it, in the professional game? When 2 teams are battered on it, perhaps judge how you went. And it seems like, we're below par. Like, I know there's the odd sign of a bit of uneven, but if you apply yourself, you can score runs out there, and that's clearly reflected because Australia are, what are they, 3, 7, 8 for 6, at the end of the day, and every batter's got to start. So it's clearly a wicket you can get in on and score. So yeah, that's my little rant there. I mean, how do you see the future of this team if we go 2-0 down?
It's not looking good because I feel like the rumblings of a 5-0 whitewash will be starting to be murmured throughout Australia. Because you've got to remember there's 2 players still to come back here, 2 key bowlers for them as well. So we're getting that, aren't we? That's.
I mean, you could get to that, mate. This Stuart Broad's words. This is the worst Aussie team in 10 years.
Yeah.
And he's probably right. He's probably correct as well.
Yeah.
Like genuinely, it is legitimately the best chance we've had to win there. In all honesty, and what I say is the women went there last winter, didn't they? And they suffered a bit, and as a result, big overhaul. Coaches gone, all sorts. I mean, it didn't help that Johnny Lou said something about the average Aussie lady is basically in better nick than the average Brit, did he? That's basically what he said after. Which isn't
yeah, that's not great. Especially when you're in charge of it all.
Yeah,
So,
yeah.
It doesn't sit well.
No.
For me, I'm just thinking if this goes 2-0, you've got still 2 key players for Australia to come back, and then you're really under the pump because then it could become really embarrassing. And a lot of this, I know we're the Bowlers Union, Chris, but a lot of this comes down to the batting of not scoring enough runs or giving. It's easy. It's very easy to go. We're not scoring enough runs. The bowlers don't get enough time on the feet, off the feet. Yeah, you like. I think it was either Finn or Broad talking about having cut back for hours, or it was Broad saying him and Anderson were able to go to sleep and feel a bit refreshed to come back and bowl when they need to. You can't even nod off, mate. If you're a bowler in this team,
you are gambling. If you're Jofra, you think I can have a little hour. No, you can't, mate. You need to stay on it. Yeah, no, you know what though? It's all of that. It all matters. In the longer form of the game, all of that adds up 100%. And I wondered if I would sound like just a bowler here with this chat, but it does feel like that to me. And I'm not asking for a lot. As a general rule, I really rate and believe in a positive approach. I think batters that put pressure on bowlers, they're way harder to bowl at. That is a fact. However, there is still good and bad options. That's my kind of point. And there's still every now and again a scenario where it's like, you know what, a leave there's good. So like Harry Brook nicking off to Stark in that tiny window where Stark being their best bowlers come back on, and you're like, Harry, just let you know, not see Stark off, because I appreciate they're never going to think like that, and they shouldn't. They're world-class batters who want to score, but equally you can reduce the risk you take against Stark. Do you know what I mean? You can pick him off if he gives you a cut or whatever, but you don't have to play a big booming drive. It's that. Well, it's that.
Yeah, that was mentioned actually. Broad mentioned it about just having a little bit more of an be more switched on about the game situation, which he was saying. You know, Stark comes back into the attack very early. You go after him, you nick off, you expose your captain who's clearly struggled against Stark. And Stark, there's nothing better than getting a wicket early on in your spell, is there?
Oh yeah, totally.
It settles you so much, and to have him expose Stokes to that. I know Stark didn't get him out in the end, but it just adds unnecessary pressure to the next batsman in. Like, you got to look after your teammates the best you can. You got to deal with the situation you're in, but he's got to walk off being quite frustrated there, I think.
Yeah. Yeah. And you know what? I will, on a positive side, well, not positive this side, but I can see in Stokes how hard he's trying. So like he really dug in yesterday in that period. So he knows Stark's a tough matchup for him. He really worked hard with Root, and it was a real shame that he got run out, because I feel like you can see the application from him with both bat and ball actually, and it's all over his face. But can he not say something? I'd be really interested to be in the dressing room and know exactly what is said, because it seems to me they've really shut off from, fair enough, I get it, from the media and stuff like that, and potentially even peers, older players who've got great knowledge. They've just blocked it all out and gone, we are basically going to swing from our tits. We're gonna swing our tits off with it, and
Mhm.
they're better than that. That's the point. If they weren't very good, I'd probably rate the strategy more
Mm.
because it's like you may as well try it. Do you know what I mean? A
Yeah.
little bit like being a bit gung ho in the FA Cup in the third round. If you're playing a
Mm.
Man City and you're like a little side, what you're not going to kind of. There's no way you win the game by hanging on, so you might as well be aggressive. But England have got the ability to actually just play and win.
Yeah. I
Um,
almost feel like if let's say batting wise, they're 100% committed normally, their level, their standard of cricket, they've got to where they are 100% committed in what they do. It feels like they're trying to push an extra 30-40% out of their limits to be over positive, and actually it's having a real bad effect on them personally.
yeah,
Because you take, I know obviously Root's got loads of runs there, but you take his, even if you cut his runs down to half that,
yeah.
it's not great. You look at the rest, like you said, there's 4 ducks in there. And then you're
Yeah,
walking away going, Crawley and him score runs. Everyone else pretty much has not done well enough.
yeah. Thank God for Crawley. Some player that bloke. Um, what I'd say as well, right? And this is to rub salt in to all of that. England play that way. Their run rate was 4.3. Australia, who seemingly played more solidly, took better options, and were more calculated, their run rate was 5.1. So Australia actually scored quicker than England. And it's because they're using their heads. They're playing.
Mhm.
They're taking the better options,
Mhm.
and they're not trying to do it from ball one. Hence, England have 4 blokes get ducks.
Yeah.
You know what I
Yeah.
mean? It's like Christ, man.
Do you think
Uh,
that England go too quick to the short ball at times?
well, this is a great shout. So that's what the mainstream media are saying. The answer is I admire that when they go to it, their commitment to it. So when they decide to go short, it's like we're doing it properly. I respect that, but I do think they go a bit quicker, a bit too quick at it. Yeah,
Mm.
just a fraction, just a
Mm.
fraction. To be honest, but I admire that when they do, they're all in.
Yeah.
Um, do you think that then? Obviously, you've mentioned it there.
Personally, I think they do. I think there's a phase of this. It's a little bit like the batting. Let's go over the top. Let's really go aggressive. But actually, sometimes you've just got to hold your length for a little bit longer. Just be a bit more persistent of just hitting a good area, trying to channel the ball in the right channel and everything else before you just opt for that, because you might get 1 or 2 top edges. But then when you go in at 5 and a bit and over or whatever,
Yeah,
then and they're 40 ahead, your plan looks shit.
yeah, agree. I mean, and there's definitely someone like Joffre. I love watching him just bowl normally because of his pace and the way he operates. If he goes exclusively short, don't get me wrong. I'm not saying I'd want to face this by any stretch, but he's quick enough that actually batters will make mistakes off his length balls where they're. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
They are not moving that well because he's at high
yeah.
pace. But if he only goes short, you remove that to a degree, don't you? Because batters
Hmm.
they shift around and stuff. There was a phase earlier where Smith and Green were batting, and they were literally just staying leg side of it, like running it down through third man. And I think
Yeah,
almost half the Aussie score was through third man, where they were literally just guiding it away. And you're like, eek, a bit predictable. And actually, Cast in the end, he did bowl a Yorker at Green, and he got a wicket
mm.
from it. So yeah, it's yeah, is the answer. I do think they do. Before we wrap up, sorry, this has been a bit ranty, hasn't it? But I want to just quickly say the TNT coverage, which you haven't got in Barbados, I suppose. TNT
Yeah,
coverage is dust. Commentary is crap. They did an interview at the end, and it was so they had Labuschagne and Root together, and it was like this crossover weird thing. And as a player, you get it. You could see Root was like, "What on earth is going on here?" And they tried to
yeah,
ask him questions that he couldn't answer with Labuschagne there.
yeah,
You know what I mean? You were getting the impression
yeah,
Root was like he couldn't just relax and do his interview. It was really
yeah.
like measured and just stuff like that. I'm like, oh yeah, not. I'm really getting annoyed. Is this therapy getting this out, or is this
A little bit, a
is
little
it
bit.
spiraling?
No, I
Right.
think it is a little bit. But anyway,
Okay. Well, look. Quickly looking ahead to tomorrow, then. Australia got a lead of 40, 4 wickets in hand. How do you see this?
They need 4 quick wickets, but
Yeah.
if they go with that mindset, I feel like they're going to just be too aggressive and probably end up being 150 behind. Personally, I think they've got to hold the length more. They've got to hold the length more and try and just slow that run rate down and try and add a bit of pressure the right way.
The interesting thing is, right, as well, if Australia apply themselves here, they will get to bowl in twilight with a newer ball. The longer they can bat. So this, unfortunately, I feel like this could be a death day tomorrow coming. I really do. It could, you know what I mean? It could be suffering.
Well, at least we'll make it to 3 days in the test match rather than just 2.
I know. And then then Adelaide, we're looking at a 4-day affair. So at least we're tracking upward. Right, Keith, it's been a pleasure. I love the fact that you're committing, even though you're on holiday still. Mate. So appreciate that. Podcast again soon, guys. Take it easy.
Cheers.